Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Weekend Wrap Up. I'm David Thomas, Mr. Josh Blevins. Josh, you got
Good
a
morning.
page full of stuff here to talk about.
I got a page full of stuff to talk about. Before we get into what we're going to talk about, though, I was just going to give a quick man on the street report for my drive into the show this morning.
Okay.
I went down to the square. I got a confession to make, David. I was going to cheat on Southern Cup and stop and get me a coffee real quick at Grindstone
Yeah.
Cowboy. I had not been in there all week. I said, I'll just pull in real quick. During the weekdays, I'll roll in there, 7:30, grab a coffee sometimes real quick. So
Right.
9 o'clock, I pull onto the square. It's packed. There was not a parking spot in front of the over to the right in front of the courthouse annex.
Yeah.
The parking was full over in front of Glass Hollow. So I turned down a little side street and parked, and I went to walk in and get my coffee. I opened the door, and they're lined up to the door in Grindstone at 9 o'clock in the morning.
What are they doing up there?
I guess serving breakfast. So I guess it's
All
still
right.
the happening place to be. So
All right.
I
Well,
had
that's good to hear.
I had to give up and go to my old favorite Southern Cup.
Southern Cup, yeah.
I couldn't wait in line. I had to be here in time.
Yeah.
So just
That's a good report.
just know that Saturday mornings the square is starting to pick up a little bit. At
That's
least on
good.
that corner.
and
So-
and the weather's not too terrible today.
no, weather's
the rain's
decent.
cleared
yeah.
out.
Yeah, the weather's decent. It's a
Yeah.
little cooler than it has been. Man, we hit some 70s this week. I went to
Yeah,
play
we
hooky
did.
a couple
I
days.
know.
So
And we had a storm come through last night.
had a little bit of a storm. So yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go down to the square, make sure you set up enough time. If you're going on Saturday morning to get breakfast,
Right.
you need to be able to wait in line a little bit, but it's worth it. So,
Good deal.
Yeah. So that's
Good to hear.
That's your man on the street
Commerce.
report. on
Commerce
Saturday
is a
morning.
good thing. guys.
Commerce is happening
Yeah.
downtown. So.
All right. Well, let's take a break here and hear from our sponsor before we
Yeah.
dive into everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be right back.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty. Welcome back in here to the weekend wrap up. Josh, I know you've got a lot written down here, but it seems like there were several meetings, but we don't have a lot of huge news, but we got a lot of small stories to talk about.
A lot of small stuff, but I think I wanted to lead today with we finally got our list of who's running for the different races here in Bedford County. And I know you and Bo, I think, talked about it on Thursday.
Yes.
I just real quick wanted to hit on it again just so that people know what's going on. We've got a primary coming up in May. I believe it's May 6th.
May-
Don't hold me
May
to that.
5th or
May
6th,
5th
yeah.
or 6th, somewhere in early May. Early voting for that will be in April. And in the primary, there are so far, we don't know yet about the property assessor's race that won't be set till March. But so far, there are only two, which is one more than I thought there was going to be last week. Two contested races in the primary. So if you live anywhere in Bedford County, you need to vote in the primary in May because you do have a choice at least for county mayor. There are 3 people running for county mayor in the primary. And then in particular, if you live in Bell Buckle or Wartrace, which is District 1, there are 3 people running for county commissioner there. So
Right.
that will get whittled down to 2 there. The county mayor's race will get whittled down to 1 Republican in the primary. And then when we get into the general election, your choices for county mayor, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on the ballot for mayor. You're going to have 2 options at trustee, 2 at sheriff, 1 at county clerk. No, 2 at county clerk, 1 at circuit court clerk, Johnny Reed at register of deeds. And then depending on what district you're in, you're going to have anywhere from, like if you're in district 8 or 9, you don't have anybody running. Those are incumbents running unopposed, but everybody else has at least 1 person running against them. Some have as many as I think 5 or 6 running. So I'll tell you, I'm in District 2, and I'm fairly plugged in. And of the 4 people that are on my list, if I walked into Kroger this morning, all 4 of them were standing there, I'd only recognize 1 of them.
Okay.
So,
All right. Yeah.
so I'm hoping these people get out and about and start, getting to where we can know them, because we're going to have to make that decision come.
Right.
In my case, those are all independent, so I'll have to make that decision in August. I couldn't tell you yet, other than I do know one of them, so I'm probably going to, the one person I know. But other than that, the second person, I don't know of the other ones. I don't even know where they stand on anything. I will say the big first event appears to be working up in the political season here. the first Saturday in March at the War Trace Volunteer Fire Hall. They're having an event, a spaghetti supper. I think it starts at 4 o'clock. And from what I can tell, pretty much, I would say more than 50% of the people on this list will be there. I'd say it's going to be a very high number of candidates who are going to be at that. If you're looking to get involved and get informed on who's running, that's probably your first chance to get out and see everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll be going to that as
We've
well.
got a lot of candidates coming in now that are starting to book their interviews for
Yep.
Meet the Candidates. So we did one yesterday, doing another one today.
Right.
We did one earlier in the week. So they're starting to pile up on us, and hopefully everybody will get theirs done here between, and hopefully in March have all of them up.
Yeah, as
So
many as you
people
can.
can-
Yeah, and I will say, just looking at the list, but within the next week, I would say you'll have at least half, maybe, of the mayoral candidates
Yeah.
will have come in and done a quick interview with you. You've already had both your sheriff's candidates, and I
Right.
think county commission
Well, I've
candidates. will
had
come
one
in.
sheriff candidate.
Oh,
The
you've
other
had
one is
one.
coming.
That's right. You've
All
had one, but the other one's committed, and then the county commission candidates are going to start rolling in. So
Yeah.
we'll, good place to get plugged in. You've got that on the website where people can go and watch those.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
As far as the week that happened, wasn't a crazy busy week. I'm just going to cover on a few meetings I went to. Tuesday evening, the county committee meetings met in the historic courthouse on the square. Nothing crazy in any of that. Rules committee, they had some discussion of the fair, Bedford County Fair Board is getting a grant of some
Right.
kind. It's about $20,000. And it seemed to me that they were fishing for, maybe they would like some kind of a match from the county. That didn't ever come out in the meeting, but the county did, that committee at least gave their blessing for them to do some work on the Ag Center with this $20,000. They had a list of priorities. It sounded like the bleachers were the biggest thing, and probably with
Yeah.
$20,000, they're probably not going to give much past bleachers with that amount of money.
Yeah.
So, Public Safety Committee, there was a proposal put forth by Commissioner Adam Thomas, brought this along with somebody from the Sheriff's Department. There is a sex offender registry in the state. I didn't really know much about it other than that it existed until this meeting. There actually are, if you are a sex offender in Bedford County, there's actually 3 different ones they could technically register with. The state operates one that's just state level. The county has one. And then if you're in the city, there's a city one.
Wow.
So for this, in this case, the county one, the sex offenders are already paying $150 a year as part of this program. The county now has the option to add a $50 surcharge on top of that, bring it up to an even $200. So it sounded like they're going to move forward with that. We also, as I found out this meeting, have that option at the city. I've already spoken to our police department, and I'm going to get with the city attorney and see if we can't get on board with the same program at the city, because we don't want it to be cheaper to live in the city as a
Yeah.
sex offender than out in the county.
Yeah.
So it's only $50, but we're $50 is $50. So we're probably going to do the same thing on the city level, I would expect, and up our fee as well. So another question came up right at the end there was asked of our sheriff, and he passed it off to the chief deputy about, is ICE operating currently in Bedford County? His response was, if they are, they haven't told us. So I have not seen, you see all the rumors on Facebook and this and that, but I've not seen anything credible that I don't think they're in town knocking down doors or anything.
I think the only time we'd have to worry about that is if there was a violent criminal that was located here.
Right.
They would
yeah.
probably come after, and probably not just one. It'd have to be probably a group. So I don't think we're going to be on a target.
Yeah,
list.
last month, I think it was the month before, a similar question was asked about how this was working with the jail. And that's when ICE technically is in town. They do come in. If you're arrested and taken to our county jail and you were not born in the United States, they send all of your information to the ICE office in Chattanooga. They then have the option, if they feel like you're dangerous or
Right.
have some kind of an issue, that they can put a hold on that person and then come and take them into federal custody. That's happening on a regular basis, but that has been going on for several years now.
Right.
That's not something new or something that's just popped
Yeah.
up. So that's
Yeah.
been going on for a while. Just quick side note on that, since we're in the world of talking about ICE real quick. There was a protest at Central High School this week. What day was that? Tuesday. We're not going to talk opinions or comment on that a whole lot. If you want to really dig into it, there's like 2,000 comments on the Times Gazette post on it. You're welcome to go in there and fight amongst everybody that's in there. I just wanted to report because we didn't do our own post on it. I was there at the school, as were just wanted to say that our law enforcement worked together. The county did with the city. There was a perimeter set up around there. It was far enough away that the kids couldn't really see it visually, but there was a safety measure in place to protect the kids. They were put behind the building where they weren't visible from the street. It was all done in a set amount of time where they were told when and where they could hold this protest. They did it where they were allowed to do it. It was not during instruction time, and it went off smoothly. There was nothing, nothing crazy happened. Beyond that, if you're upset about that it happened or this or that, if you've got kids at the school, take that up with the administration. That's not, or you can just go on Facebook and vent with the other 2,000 people, whatever you want to do about it. But that is what went on. Nobody skipped class. There was no rioting in the streets. There was no fires. There was no looting. That's how it went down. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. It was calm, and it was done according to
I would have to brag on our administration for putting it in a place to where it couldn't get out of control, and it was contained.
Yeah, it was very. Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was. Yeah, nothing got out of hand. So that it did happen. It was Times Gazette covered it. We reposted just so people knew. But I don't have a whole lot more to say on it other than that. Courthouse and Property Committee met after public safety. They met for all of 8 minutes and really didn't have a whole lot of discussion that I can remember. I will say they talked briefly about the 911 center, which I've been curious about. So I went and toured our new 911 center Wednesday. It looks impressive. So if there's ever a tornado coming through town and you can get in the door over there, that's the place you want to be. That thing is a fortress. So nice building and coming along quickly. Should be done as early as April, maybe, as far as the actual structure, but it's going to take a lot of work beyond that. There's a lot of technology involved. Wednesday morning, we had our big annual, I think it used to be only every other year, but we've had it 2 years in a row now, the City Strategic Planning Meeting. This was 6 hours, involved 2 meals and meetings in between and after. Where City Council met with the mayor, city manager, city attorney, department heads. Everybody got in the room and tried to set some priorities for city spending going forward over the next, I think we had categories of 1 year, 2 to 3 years, 4 to 5 years. I don't have a final report. They kind of have, they're going to compile it and give it back to us as a report that we'll vote on. But I can just tell you some of the priorities that are up high up and have been there for a while. Our police and fire department need new facilities. They've been in those facilities since the 60s. They've outgrown them. The police building in particular has had better days. You got supervisors working out of former jail cells as their offices, stuff like that. Fire department headquarters is undersized. I believe it's got 1 bathroom facility for the entire fire operation in Fire Station 1, and we now obviously have male and female firefighters and stuff like that. So they need a better place. So that's been up near the top. Something that came out the meeting that we knew was coming down the pike, but seems to have jumped in priority is the TACAN radios. They feel like we need to move to those sooner rather than later. I think those could even come in ahead of budget season. So those are coming. Those are expensive. Fire Station 4, we need that. We've got a hole in our coverage between the fire station that's at the airport and Fire Station 1 that's downtown. You need to be within a 1.5 mile area as far as ISO ratings. And there's a big gap in the middle there, and we built a bunch of houses there. So that was poor planning, and now we got to fix it.
There you go.
Yeah. That's how that goes. Sewer moratorium doesn't really fall on city council, and that's more on Shelbyville Power, Water, and Sewer. But there's a $6 million issue there that needs to get fixed. So you can't build anything east of Hillcrest in the city of Shelbyville right now. So paving, nobody likes potholes. Everybody wanted more paving. So don't know what more to say about that. Intersection improvements. There was a couple intersections mentioned. One's been under construction. It's like, well, not even under construction. It's been under planning for years and still has years in the process. That's that Fairfield Pike over by the church there, over past the Walgreens, all that in there.
Yeah.
So, and then the other one that was mentioned that I hear about personally a lot, because I know some people that drive by it a lot, is Midland at Peacock. You can't turn the corner too tight or you fall in a hole. So that's bad.
That's
so
so bad.
that's bad. Cemeteries running out of property. They're running out of room to bury people. Either they're going to have to stop offering that as a service for the city, or we're going to have to buy more property, one or the other. So you can't start stacking them. So they got to figure out a plan for
Well,
that. So
Josh, on that, just talking about it, those plots are sold.
most
So-
of them are sold. That's the issue. There's still a
Right.
few. We've got enough to sell for. They had a number of a few years, but at some point we're
but
gonna be
this
out.
right here is something that,
Yeah.
that the city would recoup money back on. If it purchased land, it would resell the plots.
Yeah, it would have to set the price high enough to do that. But
Well,
it's
it's there. It's
yeah.
I mean,
right.
it's should be take care of itself. So
It should, but
That's a revenue
they need to
neutral
plan for it.
situation.
They need to plan
Yeah,
for it.
exactly.
So yeah, the land's not just going to magically appear. So animal control, continue to have animal control opportunities. At some point, we probably need a department that's a standalone with a department head. Public Works, the building that they do vehicle maintenance on is falling apart. They gave us a report on that a few months ago. That's another building that needs to be replaced. And then in the world of parks and recreation, we're partway into a big soccer field project, but going back to the police and fire headquarters, if that goes at the currently proposed location, there's an issue of we're going to lose some softball fields, and we need to make that up in the park system somehow. So
Okay.
that's kind of those are all the different ways that they have found that they would like to spend your tax dollars.
I was going to ask you, where's all
Yeah.
this money going to come from, Josh?
It's going to come from the people paying
I mean,
property
this
tax.
is a
So
big bite.
it's a bunch of stuff. It's a
If you cram
bunch
that
of
in a
stuff.
5-year period, it's just going to be tough.
It is, and that's why things like police and fire headquarters have probably been on that list going back about 15 or 20 years, and it gets right down to brass tacks, and you have to go and do it, and you realize
Yeah.
you don't have the money.
At some
So it
point,
gets
somebody
kicked down the Kick down the
well,
road.
at some point, Josh,
Yeah.
somebody's got to sit down and get a whiteboard out and prioritize these.
right, and that was what this meeting was about. And we're going to get a list that's going to have them in priority order, but then it's a matter of, even if it's at the top of the list, you got to come up with the money to pay for it.
Yep,
So,
that's the next
yeah.
part.
Yeah, you can put as high on the list you want if you don't have the money.
Yep.
So that will be the that's what's going to go on with that. So we'll keep an eye on that and see where it goes. Thursday evening, went to the school board meeting. Not a ton of activity in the world of schools. Continue to be down over 200 kids from last year. Central, they gave some numbers. I believe they were down below 1,500, which seems below 1,500. I mean, there's still a lot of kids, but they had been in the 1,600 plus, so they're down under 1,500 at Central. They gave tenure to a bunch of teachers. I didn't count, but it filled the room. The number of teachers that came in, they gave tenure to. That was that time of year. And then other than that, it was a bunch of smaller items on the agenda. Thursday evening, City BZA, I actually went to that one. There is going to be a new recovery facility, like a drug therapy, rehab type of thing, built behind Livingstone's Church on Old Nashville Dirt Road. So that got passed through the BZA. They'll have to go to planning, but that will get approved at some point. And then they had to get a BZA exception. There is going to be, and this has been in the works for a couple of years, but it seems to be getting closer. There is eventually going to be a Valvoline oil facility next door to where Seven Brew is.
Okay.
So they had to get an exception because our current parking codes required, because of the size of the building, it asked them to put in 21 parking spaces. And they said, why do we need 21
Really?
parking spaces for a business where everybody drives through?
Yeah.
So they
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
it
does
didn't make no sense at
Yeah.
all. So, but there eventually will be a Valvoline oil there. So, same evening, I didn't make it to this one, but fortunately, the county has started televising this one, putting it on the YouTube. So I was able to watch it
Yeah.
after the fact. There was a very long 45-minute or so discussion of a tiny little piece of property, 0.3 acres, 105 Ed Joyce Road. I believe I've been told even it's supposed to be maybe Joyce
Ebb,
Road. And
yeah.
over the years, it's somehow gotten changed, and nobody
It's
really
still-
knows how.
It's still ebb.
It's Ebb, but on the maps and even on the street sign, I think it's Ed. So
That's
I
not
don't know
good.
how that happened. But anyways, if you know where that is, Ed Ebb runs into 231 North right there at the Blue Ribbon Diner.
Right.
If you're looking at that, if you go across Ebb Joyce from the Blue Ribbon Diner, not the first parcel on the corner, which is just an empty lot with some signs, but the very next one, there's a house. And the BZA approved turning that house into a 900 square foot shopping facility that's going to sell homemade and artisan type of goods. So it's going to be some kind of, they're going to sell honey and homemade baked goods and this and that. So this was a business that had previously been, I believe, in Christiana, and they're relocating there. It's not zoned correctly for this. That's why they had to go to the BZA. The BZA did approve it to be used as this. It actually didn't pass unanimously. It was 3-1, but it did pass. So there will be a business going there fairly soon. I've never watched County BZA because it's the first one that ever been on the YouTube, but apparently a lot of what they do is people want to have a guest house or a pool house or whatever on your property. In order to do that at a certain size, you have to go to the BZA. Three people got new pool houses, guest houses approved. Right. Somebody at Fairfield Pike and Noble Road, however, asked for an additional building on theirs for a home-based business of some kind. They got denied. They were the only denial at the BZA. BZA said, no, your lot's too small. You can't have the second building on your property. And then there was also an exception given in Bell Buckle. There was a piece of land that somebody wanted to put a house on, and there wasn't room for it. So they're going to let them build it anyways. They're going to be closer to the road than the zoning allows. So that was it at County BZA and City BZA and School Board and Strategic Planning and committees. So with that, believe it or not, at only 22 minutes in, that is all the meetings I went to this week.
All right, so not a lot of little things,
a lot of little
nothing
things,
huge,
nothing big. Now the big thing coming down the pike is the election. So I think that's
still no updates on the Uncle Nearest ruling.
I wasn't going to talk about them this week because there is no news, but I will say that the upcoming week, this week, Thursday is the deadline for the next round of paperwork. So I would say Thursday, there'll be a bunch of paperwork filed and we'll get to see what's in those filings. And I'm sure we'll talk about those next weekend. I will, since we're talking about them anyways, even though that wasn't the direction I was going, I did do a little stop for lunch after church on Sunday. Had me some barbecue at the barbecue restaurant. Talked to a couple people at the world's longest bar. Very slim crowd on a Sunday afternoon. This is, though, their worst time of year traditionally anyways. You don't the tour thing that they do involves a lot of walking outside. You really don't like to walk outside when it's January and February, even though we've had some good weather this week. But the bar, as was rumored on Facebook, I think we'd even talk about it, they've stopped serving food at the bar, so all they had was drinks. The bartenders I talked to said you can go over to the barbecue restaurant, order your food, and bring it with you into the bar, and then they'll serve you drinks while you're eating your barbecue. But beyond that, tours were still going on. There were still tour groups there and stuff, but it was a slim crowd on a Sunday after church. So speaking of Sunday after church, I guess I'll jump to this. This is more upcoming week, but there is I'll be at an event this Sunday for this is not a public event. This is an invitation event for our 85th coffee shop opening in town. 85th. I don't know. I've lost count. We're going to call it the 85th. It's probably not quite that many, but Starbucks is opening this upcoming week. That's not a secret. There's actually a banner I drove by when I drove by, but they've invited some people to come in on Sunday. So I'll be checking them out. And then this coming week, if you're a Starbucks aficionado, you can drive by and get you some coffee there.
So their official open date is when?
I believe Monday. The banner when I drove by today, which was the public thing, said 3 days left, but I think you could drive right in there on a Monday, and if not Monday, definitely Tuesday, but I think Monday. So
all right, well, it's here finally.
It's here. If you like the Starbucks, go and get it. So
all right, well, let's pause now and hear from our sponsor once again, Dennis Young Insurance. We'll be back and take a look ahead for the upcoming week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back, and stay tuned for next week's update.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty, welcome back in here to the weekend wrap up. Josh, you've got the upcoming week outlook.
I do. I got the upcoming week outlook. Not a crazy amount of stuff, but there's at least one that I think is going to be important to a lot of people. Let's start, though, with Tuesday evening is one of my busy nights of the month. I've got back-to-back. The county will have their finance meeting at 4:15 on Tuesday. At 5 o'clock, Shelbyville Power, Water, and Sewer will have their board meeting at 5 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, if they have it, this has been canceled like 2 or 3 months ago, but I believe it's on the agenda. I haven't seen a cancellation yet. County Planning Commission will get together for the first time since maybe October and have a little discussion. They didn't honestly have a lot on their agenda, but they'll probably talk about what's been going on at that wastewater board and a few other things.
Right.
So yeah, and that one should now be on YouTube, but I'll try to get to that one in person. The big one for me, and I think this is going to be big for people on my side of town, west side of the city.
Yeah.
Thursday evening, I believe we meet at 6. Don't hold me to that. I think that's right, though. I should know. I've got to be there. But Shelbyville Planning Commission is going to meet, and for the first time since December 2023, I think it's over 2 years, there is going to be discussion and a likely vote on the Remington Farms PUD subdivision behind Jostens. 158 acres. There will be 14 acres containing 135 townhomes. There will be 114 and a half acres containing 400 single-family homes. There will be a little under 10 acres set aside for future unspecified commercial development, and then 20 acres for a possible future elementary school.
Okay, so what has changed from the last time this was presented, Josh? I know we did a traffic study.
Been a lot of discussion with TDOT. The big change in the makeup there of those numbers I read you is it used to be twice as many townhomes. This started out at 700 units, over 700 units. We're down to 535. So the unit count has gone down some. What they did was they took one big chunk of what was called what was going to be townhomes with the initial proposal, and have given that as a land option to the county school system for a possible school. That was one big change. The second big change is they're after the traffic study, which obviously, as you would expect with 700 units, showed a lot more traffic on Union Street. They have agreed at their expense to put in a third lane on Union Street starting at the entrance of the new neighborhood, which technically is going to go as far as Jostens. There's already 3 lanes. There's already a turn lane at Jostens. So imagine where Jostens is. From Jostens all the way down to Mack Street, which is not all the way down, but it's all the way to Mack Street.
Right there to Shelbyville Mills Baptist Church, basically.
Basically there, and there's that assisted living something on the corner.
Celebration Way.
Yeah, Celebration Way. So right down to that intersection, they will add a center turn lane to Union Street, making it a 3-lane road for just that stretch. And those are the 2 changes. The main entrance to this development would continue to be on Union Street. However, and I know this was a hot button with the first time it came through, it does still have a secondary access off Cloverdale.
Yeah.
So it had to have, with this many buildings, this many houses, you couldn't just have one way in and out, or you ended up what we have in my neighborhood, Union Station, which is, over 1,000 people and only one road in and out. So this will have primary access Union Street, secondary will be Cloverdale. So if anyone in that area would like to comment on this particular development, which there definitely was a lot of that at the previous time over 2 years ago, Thursday evening will be your first opportunity for public comment, 6 o'clock at the Codes and Planning building, which is across from the dinner table down there.
Yeah.
And the old Chamber of Commerce building, if you know where it is. It's one of them Cannon. Is that North Cannon? I can't remember if it's called North or South. I think it's North Cannon there. I think it's the very beginning of North Cannon is there.
Yeah.
So, but either, next to the Shell station there.
Right.
So that, I think that's going to be the big one of the upcoming week. We'll see what direction that goes. There's a lot of other stuff on that agenda that night, but I know that's one that a lot of people have been on the lookout for. So
Yep.
that's
Been a
it's
while.
coming.
Been a while coming.
Long time, over 2 years.
Yeah.
So over 2 years.
right.
It's been in the
Well.
works. A lot of discussion with TDOT, a lot of meetings happened behind the scenes, and this is the end result. So we'll see where it goes on Thursday. So
All right. I had a lot of people commenting. Let's see. Make sure to enjoy the music night at 6 p.m. And that looks like the VFW post.
that's right.
5019.
Yeah, let me just real quick. I should have hit on a couple of those things. I'm not going to remember all of them, but yeah, VFW tonight has their music night. There's a big fundraiser at Fairhaven tonight, I believe. For do you know the lady's name? I'm drawing a blank on the. There's a. Oh, I should have looked this up ahead of time and written it down. But there is a big fundraiser for someone that works for EMS at Fairhaven this evening. There's also, I believe, FFA Cascade maybe is doing a fundraiser tonight. There was we posted on our page. There's another church that was having a spaghetti thing tonight. So there are a lot of events. It seems to be fundraiser season for some
Right.
reason. There are a lot of events going on.
I know
right
we have
now,
posted
so.
several spaghetti suppers. It's something's about spaghetti.
A lot of
It's all
spaghetti.
one,
Yeah.
so-
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure I got the name right. Yeah. Savannah Morton tonight at 4:00. This is at Fairhaven. This is another big one. I expect it's going to be packed. She, I believe, works for EMS and has cancer. It's a barbecue plate one. This is $10 a plate. And they're also having an auction that starts at 5:30. And I saw the auction. A lot of nice auction items. I think some guns and stuff too. So I like.
Well,
gun
guns in the
auction, so-
church.
Yeah, so
All right.
a little gun auction. But yeah, so a lot of events. You can find all that on Facebook. A lot of those have been reshared. And then again, I'll reiterate the one in March. I know the one at the War Trace Fire Department first Saturday in March is going to be a packed one as well, because that one's got all your political. Everybody that's wanting to run for office is going to show up at
Yeah.
that one. Shake hands and kiss babies.
There you go.
So, yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, that wraps it up.
that's all I got for today. So
All right. Well, thank everybody for watching. And we thank our sponsor once again. We'll be back same place, same time next week.
same channel on your TV.
Everybody have a great weekend. And we'll see